Hi, welcome to the Phlebotomy Certification course hosted by the Cultural Institute of Health and Education, or CHE for short. My name is Amira Clemens, and I will be walking you through this presentation. So, welcome again, my awesome students. This presentation will assist in navigating the phlebotomy course. Let's do this. First, we'll talk about who we are. The Cultural Institute of Health and Education is a nonprofit organization that started as an idea that was constructed by its founders. As practicing nurses who also taught, we often discussed how to address significant issues we witnessed in practice and in instruction. The trends were that we did not often see an equal number of people of color in professional roles in healthcare or as students in healthcare career programs in universities. When we did encounter many of these individuals, we often wonder what made the difference between those who appeared professional and passionate as opposed to those who had poor professional conduct. We also questioned how a supportive mentor would change their behaviors and outlook on professional development and continuing education. Another significant trend that we considered is the disproportionate number of people of color providing care to others from the same ethnic background. Understanding that when it comes to health issues, having someone with the same culture helps with gaining information that aids in addressing health interventions and health promotion. Where we are now, consideration for the economic background of many people who work in technical health careers have an effect on their career and education decision. These individuals may not have the time, money, or the means to secure funding to attend college. They may also lack the mentors or people they can look up to, of whom they can identify with what they are going through. Educate them, understand that the career goal may seem out of reach for or is actually unattainable. Who are our CHE's instructors? Our instructors come from a long background of professional and life experiences. They bring a lot to the table. I am Amira. I am the founder of CHE. I'm also a nurse and the program director. Felix is also an educator and a nurse. He's a great mentor who has passion to lead people to achieve their goals. Malika is a nurse, educator, and doula with a passion for women's health. And most importantly, we all want to see you win. These are our assistants, Naima Clemens. She is our lab assistant and she attends the sessions. Rachel Mirabueno is an instructor. She is also a virtual assistant and tends to the Google Classroom activities. There are two to three times that we meet in person within this course. The important times are for the skills session and the certification exam. When we are in person, these are the locations. At the Indo-Chinese American Council, located at 4936 Old York Road in the Logan section of Philadelphia, or the Solutionary Center at 1265 North 29th Street in the North Philadelphia section of Philadelphia. Sometimes there's exceptions when we need to meet off-site, but that is up to the discretion of the instructors who are leading the lessons. Here is the general curriculum. We will study basic phlebotomy concepts, principles, and procedures. This course prepares the students to develop and understand an understanding of the responsibility of the phlebotomy technician role. The phlebotomy technician course is designed to teach the knowledge of technology, including introduction of the responsibilities of terminology, delivery of care, communication, and the safety of the phlebotomist, and procedural aspects of basic phlebotomy, including the collection of specimens and venipuncture required to become a phlebotomy technician. This program includes theory and hands-on instruction. A syllabus with the information on the next few slides will be posted on the course platform. So here are the course or curriculum objectives. 2, understand phlebotomy in healthcare, to serve as quality employees for the healthcare community, to correctly prepare for blood specimens and testing for analysis, to correctly and safely perform venipuncture, and to apply for a national certification exam in phlebotomy. So this is a general phlebotomy course. This course is self-paced. However, if you wanted to complete it in the shortest amount of time, you can follow this path and complete it in about 2 months or 8 weeks. These are the topics that are these are the topics, and there are chapters that accompany these slides. So in week 1, we cover introduction to phlebotomy and healthcare structure. Week 2, we cover safety and infection control. Week 3, medical terminology and anatomy and physiology. Week 4, venipuncture and equipment and routine venipuncture. Week 5, capillary collection, pre-analytic variables and venipuncture complications. Week 6, special collection and procedures, special non-blood collection procedures. Week 7, specimen handling, transport, and processing, and also point of care testing. And then in week 8, we go over quality phlebotomy and legal issues in phlebotomy. This is a general and basic phlebotomy course. Once you complete this course, you'll be eligible for certification. However, you will need to be open to and do your due diligence to seek other skills needed to work in different settings. Phlebotomists can work in a variety of settings, including doctor's offices, hospitals, standing on labs, dialysis centers. They can also work as traveling phlebotomists. And the skills range from learning medical records, vital signs, CPR, etc. Although this course is self-paced, there are schedules and different learning modalities that a student will have to adjust to. In general, this is a distant learning course. Some may call it a hybrid because we do meet in person sometimes, but the learning is provided by us, but it is on the student to stay engaged and on task. So the learning methods for this course is that we will use a combination of in-person and online learning techniques to make sure that everyone can make the most out of our lessons. So there's 2 ways that learning is achieved in this course. There's synchronous learning and asynchronous learning. And synchronous learning is real-time or live video classes. In this method, we will log into a virtual classroom on a set date and time. For this course, this is how the first lesson is generally achieved or delivered. We will interact with each other as I teach the lessons, and you will participate in the discussion. We will be using a video conference application or technology such as Zoom, Google Meet, or free conference call. For the asynchronous learning, that's the self-paced part. In this method, you will do the work on your own time. You will be able to access worksheets, assignments, and reading material. You will be expected to follow deadlines, and we will be able to check in with each other through email or text message. So for this learning platform or for this course, we use Google Classroom. Students who are registered are invited to join a section and are given access to that section through the Google Classroom platform. Here's the basic navigation of the platform. So you will see when you log on or when you accept the invitation, you will see a site or a platform that looks similar to this. So instead of saying test stuff, it will actually have a header on a page that tells you that you're in your classroom, your section of the classroom. So on number 1, this is the stream. This is the tab where the teachers post announcement. It's similar to I guess the best example would be Facebook news feed, where you will see an announcement and you'll be able to comment. On 2, on the classwork tab, this is where you will find your assignments, handouts, and work for the class. On tab number 3, the people tab shows your classmates that are in the same section with you. And then 4, the little indicator that has the 3 lines, is where you click to see other Google Classrooms or sections if you're in more than one Google Classroom. But we only have one class at this time, so you will only see this one section that you're in. And then on tab number 5 is where you see all your up and coming work to complete. And you see right here where there's a looks like a little profile picture and a text box, where this is where your instructor will post weekly or daily announcements or some special announcement for some information that he or she may be trying to communicate with you to make sure that you stay on top of your work, or an invitation to a skills day, or posting a calendar, things like that. We also use Google Forms when there's a need for students to sign up for things. Most of you use one of these forms to sign up for the course. However, if it comes a time where you need to sign up to meet in person, we will use Google Forms then as well. It's a great tool for instructors, but for students, you must pay attention to and take note of what you signed up for. Once you send the responses, you may not get a confirmation for or a notification of what you signed up for. Both Google Classroom and Google Classroom and Google Forms help us keep the cost down so that we can keep this course free of charge. So to reiterate, you may see a post on the stream portion of the Google Classroom with a link to a Google form inviting you to select a date and time for a skills day. Before you click send or send it, you want to make sure that you write down what your selection was. So if you chose a specific date and time that works best for you, and you send it, but you forget what you selected, you may miss an appointment or a scheduled time to meet. We try to make sure that we have the Google form set to have an automatic response after a student sends a response choosing a date and time, but sometimes it becomes cumbersome if there is multiple dates and multiple times to choose from, and the Google form does not allow for multiple different emails to be sent. So it's up to the student to write down what their choices were and keep note of that so that they can show up when they're expected to show up. Individual work, assignments, quizzes, and exams. So there's assignments that you will be asked open-ended questions. You will need to type in your responses in a private chat or a private comment on that specific assignment as turning it in or as the method of turning it in. You can also utilize the Google Docs to type up your answers and submit for certain assignments that are open-ended. There's also quizzes. You will receive weekly quizzes, and the purpose of weekly quizzes is to get you used to reviewing information and testing your knowledge, and also sitting in front of the computer taking taking tests, because that's how the certification exam is delivered. And then once you complete the readings, the assignments, and skill demonstration, and all of the quizzes, you will be eligible to sit for the certification exam. These are the grading components of the course. Graded activities are the individual assignments and quizzes that are graded accordingly. And note, at this time, we can't see the quiz results. So completing the quiz, some students will notice that they received 100%, even though they may not have received 100% on the quiz. But we give you 100% for completing it. We cannot see when we use the Google quiz option, we cannot see the individual student scores. So it's up to you to monitor your progress on your quiz scores. And also note that the quizzes at this time can be taken multiple times in multiple attempts. And our school grading system is that passing is 60% and above. To date, we haven't had any students who had less than 60%. For the hands-on skill, each student will receive a demonstration and be given the opportunity to perform phlebotomy skills on the phlebotomy mannequin arm. Our school's grading system on this portion is successful or unsuccessful demonstration. Again, we have not had a student who has had unsuccessful demonstration of that portion of the grading component. And then finally, the certification exam. For the certification exam, the certifying body is AMCA, American Medical Certification Association, and they provide the score for the certification exam, but passing for the certification is 74%. And note that even though we can't see the quiz scores right now because of the specific platform that we're using, we're working on changing that. Also, that there are 2 certification practice quizzes that will assist in determining readiness for the certification exam. Here are some classroom requirements. The last star is not necessarily a requirement, but it's a good option. So for the live video sessions, we will be holding our classes through a virtual app. We use either Zoom, Google Meet. Google Meet we don't use that often because it only allows us for an hour, and most of our sessions are more than an hour, but it's an option that we've used before. And then free conference call, which is very similar to the Zoom platform. The collaboration platforms, we will be holding our classes through virtual apps and the locations that was previously noted in the Logan and North Philadelphia section of the city. For the home learning packet, there's a study guide that will be provided to each student, or each student who's registered will have access to, and it's up to the student to either utilize that study guide on the computer or online platform, or to download it and print it out. There's also an ebook option, but we'll talk about that once you're in the program, once you're registered in a program. An official email address. Please use an email address that you have access to and that has an appropriate name. Emails used for businesses or that have an inappropriate title will be removed from the roster, and students will need to be re-enrolled with a different email address. The reason is that registering with the email address that's tied to a business will have the student in the roster with a different name than their legal name. And it becomes a problem when the student needs to sit for the certification exam. And if you come to sit for the certification exam and we don't know what your legal name is because you used a fictitious name and that is tied to an email address that's attached to a business or some other personal use, we cannot authenticate you on exam day. And if you never registered with your legal name. So this is the one time, I know sometimes people are funny about using their legal name, but this is the one time that we need your legal name to be registered for the course. And if you used your business email address to sign up for the course and it shows up as your business email, if you notify us, we can remove you and then re-enroll you with your legal name so that, all things are good when it comes down to validating you as a student of CHE and validating you on the exam day, the day you take your certification exam. Another requirement is a computer with a web access. Most of the information is virtual and it is difficult to navigate the information without a computer. It is okay to read or review things on your phone. And we know that a lot of people utilize their phones like small computers these days, but the functionality is different and difficult to use as a sole means of reviewing information just using a phone. We suggest that you, at some point during a program, sit in front of the computer and review the information on the computer. And we also note that sometimes when students have trouble accessing assignments and completing assignments, it's because they're attempting to use their phone for that function. And then lastly, using a headset or headphones with a mic. It just makes it easier if you're on the online virtual platform when we're delivering a lesson. It makes it easier for us to hear you and you to hear us if you're somewhere where there's noise or feedback. And finally, tell me and I may forget, teach me and I may remember, involve me and I will learn, by Benjamin Franklin. May we have fun and productive learning sessions ahead. Welcome to our phlebotomy certification course. Feel free to get in touch with us. Contact me, Amira, Felix, Malika, or Rachel for any questions or clarification. Here is the general email address for CHE, mail@theche.org. But if you want to get in touch with either of us individually, our information is on the Google Classroom. This mobile number, 267-702-4817, is the general number for the institution. And the consultation hours are 5 to 8 p.m. and based on individual instructors' availability. Thank you for coming. I look forward to helping you all become certified phlebotomy technicians.